let's talk about that three-digit number that kind of follows you around everywhere, your credit score. I know, it can feel like this big, complicated mystery, right? Well, today we are going to pull back that curtain and turn all that mystery into mastery. But really, have you ever just stopped and wondered why? Why does this one little number have so much say over the big things in your life? It's a huge question, and it's pretty much at the heart of everything we're going to get into. So here's our game plan. First, we'll look at why credit is this invisible gatekeeper. Then, we'll decode what your score is actually made of. After that, we'll bust some common myths, lay out a real action plan, and finally, put you back in the driver's seat.
Okay, so the easiest way to think about your credit history, it's basically your financial report card. It's a quick summary for lenders that shows them how you've handled borrowing money in the past. It helps them decide if you're a good bet for the future.
And believe me, it matters in way more places than you might think. We're not just talking about getting a new credit card. This report card gets checked when you're trying to rent an apartment, buy a car, get insurance, and yeah, sometimes even when you're applying for a job. It's kind of the key to a lot of major life moments. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty and actually decode this thing. And here's a little secret that might surprise you. You don't just have one credit score. It's a little more complex than that. You've probably heard of the FICO Score, right? They're the old-school industry standard that most lenders use. But then there's also Vantage Score, which is a newer model from the big three credit bureaus. The main difference? FICO needs you to have credit for at least 6 months, but Vantage Score can often score people who are brand new to credit. That's also why the score your bank shows you might be different from the one on a free credit app. They're just using different grading systems. So, what's actually in your FICO Score? Well, look at this. The two biggest pieces of the pie, by far, are your payment history and how much debt you're carrying. Together, that's a whopping 65% of your entire score. And that payment history part is so critical. Just one payment that's 30 days late can seriously tank a good score. It really is this simple. Pay your bills on time, every time, and keep your balances low. That's the secret sauce. Now, for that amounts owed part, there's a magic number I want you to remember: 30%. This is about your credit utilization. Basically, lenders get a little nervous if they see you're using more than 30% of your total available credit. Staying under that number shows them you've got things under control and you're not maxing out your cards just to get by. Okay, let's clear something up. Have you ever been afraid to check your own credit score because you heard it might hurt it? We can put that fear to rest right now. When you apply for a loan, a lender does a hard inquiry. And yeah, that can knock your score down a few points temporarily. But when you check your own score, that's a soft inquiry, and it has absolutely zero impact. So please, check it as often as you want. Knowledge is power. And now for my absolute favorite part, myth-busting. You know, there's so much bad advice floating around out there about credit, and it is time to set the record straight. Let's separate the financial fiction from the facts. I hear this one constantly. You know, the idea that you have to carry a little balance over each month to prove you're using your credit. It kind of makes sense on the surface, but is it actually true? Nope. Myth busted. Carrying a balance does absolutely nothing to help your score. All it does is cost you money in interest charges. The best possible thing you can do for your score and your bank account is to pay that statement balance in full every single month. Remember this: a zero balance is the hero balance. All right, here is another classic. You've got that one card you opened back in college that you never use anymore. So you figure you should just close it and tidy things up, right? Well, be careful because this one can seriously backfire on you. So here's why you gotta think twice. When you close an old card, you instantly lose all of its available credit. This can make your credit utilization ratio shoot up, which can hurt your score. Plus, it can shorten the average age of your credit history. So unless that card has a crazy high annual fee, it's usually best to just keep it open, maybe use it for a small purchase every few months. Okay, so now that we know what not to do, it's time to talk about what you can do. This is your playbook. These are the simple, powerful steps you can take to build, improve, and protect your credit. Let's do this. First things first, you need to see your reports, and you can get them for free every single week from all three bureaus: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. But you have to go to the official site, which is annualcreditreport.com. Seriously, that's the only one authorized by federal law. It's your right to see this info, and it's step one to taking back control. And when you get those reports, read them carefully. Look for anything that seems off: an account you don't recognize, a payment marked late that you know you paid on time. If you find a mistake, you have the right to dispute it. You can contact the credit bureau and the company that reported it and get it fixed. It's your credit profile. You deserve for it to be accurate. Now, if you're just starting out or maybe you're rebuilding your credit, here are 3 fantastic options. You could get a secured credit card where you put down a small deposit that becomes your credit limit. Or you could become an authorized user on a trusted family member's card. And a third option is a credit builder loan. All of these are great, low-risk ways to start building a positive payment history. Okay, as we start to wrap this up, I want you to remember the single most important thing. Your credit score is just a tool. It's not a judgment on you as a person. It's a number, not your self-worth. And that's really the key takeaway here. A credit score is just a snapshot in time. It's a number that predicts how likely you are to pay back a loan. It doesn't define who you are. And the best part is, it's a number that you can understand, you can manage, and you can absolutely improve. This is all about empowerment. So, I'll leave you with this one last question. After everything we just went through, what is the very first step you are going to take? Are you going to go pull your free credit reports? Maybe set up automatic bill pay? Whatever it is, just know that the power to change that number is completely in your hands. Thanks for tuning in.